hello there.
Welcome to the What If Qui-Gon Didn't Die podcast. My name's Jamie.
And I'm Shaun.
And this is our Corellian Chinwag episode where we generally have a catch-up, a chit-chat, and just see what we've been up to for the past week.
That's it. So what you've been up to? I think we should talk a little bit about what we've been listening to, maybe.
Yeah.
Or what's been taking your time when you're not at work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When I'm not at work.
Yeah.
That's actually a harder question, I think.
Or maybe at work.
because I listen to a lot more stuff when I'm at work.
Oh, that's fair enough.
When I get home, I tend to sort of
not listen.
I don't listen to so much.
Oh, okay. I do it both, so that's why I asked.
I like to save it up because I'm out by myself for so long.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair enough.
Gives me a chance to.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit different. I sort of carry on, I guess, at home if I'm on my own. But yeah, no, that's good little insight there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I've got so much time on my hands.
Yeah,
that it gives me the chance to catch up on podcasts or audiobooks or whatever else I can find that I can
squeeze
just listen
onto
to.
your phone.
Yeah, sometimes it's music, but actually the music's kind of, even though I'm a massive music fan,
yeah,
it's usually the last thing I choose to listen to when I'm working.
Yeah,
because otherwise the songs are stop-start and you kind of need that flow.
Yeah.
Whereas when you've got a podcast or an audiobook, sometimes it's quite nice because you can just kind of pause it and then resume.
Yeah, that's it. I find the same because I used to listen to music when I first got a decent pair of Bluetooth earphones, wireless and all that sort of gubbins.
Fancy.
Yeah,
someone's doing
quite
well.
Fancy. Yeah. Second hand, it's all right. But now the novelty of that's worn off because, like you say, stop start all the time. Yeah, I found it a lot easier now to listen to an audiobook or something because then the earphones sort of push it back 2 or 3 seconds. Yes. Especially if I just pull the earphone out, it'll go, oh, it's pulled it out, and then they'll stop.
Yeah.
And then it will sort of go back a second or two. Or if somebody rings me, it does push it back a little bit.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it is quite good. If you're listening to music and you do that, it's a bit jarring. Ugh.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you want to listen to music, you kind of want to hear the whole track. If you get a song that you really like, you kind of want to immerse yourself in it, and I think that's the way to enjoy music.
Yeah.
When you sort of start with it,
you're not enjoying it for the song. It's just something to make your mind tick over.
Yeah, it's just background noise. Keeps your mind occupied.
Yeah.
I mean, the job you do, the job I do, be quite easy just to sort of your mind to run away.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you don't even know what you're doing anymore. You just
that's it. You're on autopilot, aren't you?
Yeah. Which actually, to be fair, when I listen to audiobooks and podcasts, my mind does go anyway, but I'm enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah.
Keeps it focused, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good point, to be fair, because when I listen to audiobooks, I don't think I'm taking it in while I'm listening to them, while I'm working. But if I sat down with a mate after and talked about the book, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the bit where so-and-so does that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't even remember listening to that bit, but my brain has actually absorbed it.
It's taking it in.
And it's taking it in. And I couldn't tell you, as I'm listening to it, what's going on, but afterwards I could recall what I've listened to. It's such a weird paradox of listening to stuff.
Did you ever used to watch Dexter's Lab?
Oh yeah.
There's an episode that you may or may not remember where he wants to learn French.
Oh, I think I do remember it.
So what he does is he puts it on a tape and then he falls asleep listening to it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because he believes that if he's listening at night, he's learning it, but he's asleep, so it doesn't count. And then all he learns is omelette du fromage.
And it's the first thing that comes up, isn't it?
And it's the only thing he can say from that point
I remember that episode, yeah.
Great classic episode.
Oh, Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
Don't get them like that no more.
Probably for good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love it. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. But that's funny you say that, because when I was in doing GCSE drama and stuff like that, I used to believe that about my lines.
Oh, okay.
So I would either listen to a tape or a CD of the script.
Yeah.
Or I'd record myself saying the whole script and then fall asleep trying to listen to it. But yeah, it didn't help because I still forgot my lines. Even though I did try to do a little bit of research, but I was a young man. I wasn't really, I wasn't all over it. But yeah, I used to think the same. If I fall asleep listening to it, but it's wrong now because obviously if I fall asleep listening to an audiobook now, if I put a different one on, obviously to just sort of settle to or whatever. Yeah, I'll wake up and the timer's gone off and I can't remember a single thing.
No.
So
because you're asleep. Yeah. That's the actual fact.
Your brain's shut down. Asleep. You're not absorbing information when your brain's asleep, so... the fromage.
So what have you been listening to then?
So I'm still trying to plough my way through the Warhammer Horus Heresy series. It's a big series of loads of books that culminate in the original storyline of what we would call 30k, and then sort of they've just released the Siege of Terror, which then leads on to the next part of it all. It's really good, but there's loads of books. I think there's I haven't got the list to hand, but I think it's like 50 or 52 books.
Wow, okay.
And then the last book leads into another series of books, which is about when the big sort of end battle happens. And I think that was supposed to be like 2 or 3 books, but it's going to be like 5 books because there's so much to tie up in that. But yeah, so it sort of goes down in the timeline is moving along, but you're not following a linear path of one character. You're sort of zigzagging to other places and events that bring you to the end.
Is this almost like... Did you ever read the Game of Thrones books?
I did, yeah. Not so much like them. They're not written like them. Every book is its own standalone book.
I see. So you're following one character per book.
Per book, but the storylines in itself is following the zigzag of timeline almost. It's quite good. I did like the Game of Thrones books, but I'd never got them on audio. I just read them.
Yeah,
old school.
I read most of them.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the first few. And then there was a book released where it was none of the main characters. And I wasn't invested in these characters, and I thought, I don't really want to read this. I've had enough.
Oh, that's either 3, because number 3 and number 5 was split into 2, and I think that's when he went, right, you've got your old characters that you love from 1 and 2 book over here, but then this book here is about a different area, so you've got to grow up with these characters as well. Because Tolkien did that in Two Towers and Return of the King. So the films make it look like they're both coinciding, but Return of the King is Frodo and Sam's journey, and it's all written as one book. And then another book is the same timeline, but that's from almost Aragorn and Pippin and all that other stuff. Point of view, yeah. So Game of Thrones ain't the only book to do that.
Yeah.
But it's been so long since I've read Game of Thrones, I'm just waiting for the last couple. Everybody's waiting for the last couple of books to come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm listening to at the moment. I do have a list of podcasts that I've got to listen to, but I'm so into this Warhammer series at the moment, and every time I finish a book, I can see myself getting closer and closer to the end of this long list. So even though I say I'm going to listen to a podcast, I normally just get to work and go, right, I will finish this book today. And then it just pushes all the other stuff out of the way. But yeah.
I know what you mean. It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. And even if I want to break the day up and I say I listen to a bit of the book now, and then my earphones will probably run out of charge halfway through the day, so then I'll pop them in the case, recharge them a bit, then I'll listen to something else. But I never do that because I just carry on the book because I'm halfway through a chapter now,
you can't,
and then you just get warped into it. You go down a little rabbit hole and you think, God, and then I start listening to it on the way home as well because I'm like, I will just finish this little bit. But yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so I've talking about audiobooks. Today I've started the Dave Grohl book.
Yeah.
Which I'm about a quarter, maybe a third of the way through.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
He's got some really good stories. And it's just some mind blowing stuff. He's telling his, obviously it's an autobiography, but he's, for the most part at the start, he's sort of late teens, early 20s, and he's sort of getting into being with a band, and then there's sort of things that happen. I don't really want to spoil it, but he just gets some amazing opportunities he just wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And it's just, you sit
bonkers.
There, you just sit there going, What? You were doing what? With who? And huh?
Yeah.
You got that opportunity?
Yeah.
So definitely worth a listen on the audiobook front.
Yeah.
Probably worth a read if you prefer
the physical hardback book,
the analog version.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been listening to a handful of podcasts.
Yep.
Trying to get back in. I sort of had a bit of time away from them. In my last job, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I wasn't working by myself, so I didn't really have the chance to sort of
immerse, put your headphones in, and sort of crack on with it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So now I'm in a position where I'm in a new job, and it's taken me a few months to get to the point where I feel like I'm comfortable to start listening to podcasts again. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back, baby.
He's back, baby. In the zone, baby.
So I've got my little staples.
Nice.
I've got Wolf and Owl.
Yep.
Which is Romesh and Tom.
Oh yeah, you've shown me a bit of that before, haven't you? Yeah.
It's classic. Just them, just chatting and answering a few emails and agony aunting and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But in their unique way.
Yeah.
Usually just sniping at each other. It's very funny. Definitely worth a listen. And another one I listen to is an Aussie podcast called Bloody Brilliant Beers. Couple of guys on there. They started off doing beers and now they just...
It's evolved, isn't it, that one? It's gone from their first thing, and if you saw them from then to now, it's just grown and grown, isn't it?
Yeah,
into what they do now,
And that is... You'll see videos of them on Instagram and...
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of adverts I find with them in, obviously because of what comes up in my feed and stuff that. Yeah.
But they're really funny, and they get callers. Well, they sort of pre-record their voicemail sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that some of the stuff the callers come in with are just hilarious. It's so funny. So I listen to that, and then the other one I really like, and I've listened to them for the best part. It's nearly 5 years old. This podcast I listen to now.
Yeah.
This is the Podchild Cinecast.
Yes.
And this is a couple of guys, John and Phil, and they work at the Prince Charles Cinema in London.
Yeah.
A cinema which sounds amazing. I'd love to go. I've just never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And if I get the chance, and if something's on, I'm not going to go for the sake of it. Something's got to be on that I want to watch.
Yeah.
But they play a lot of classic films, and they play some really good stuff, and they've got some special nights for bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But their podcast, when it first started, they presented from within the cinema.
I remember you saying, yeah. They sort of recorded it in the cinema, didn't they?
Yeah, so they could be in the bar, or they could be up in, I don't know, one of the offices
in the booth.
Yeah, and then they would talk more about the films and the things that were happening in the cinema.
Yeah,
and then we had lockdown hit, and the whole format changed. And then they sort of choose films or choose series of films. Like they would do arcs. They would do little series of maybe directors or film sort of franchises and stuff like that. And then they talk into it, and they dig down into some of these films.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a review.
It's just to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's like what we do, a little chinwag, I guess.
Yeah, and I quite like that. The fact that they're not saying, "Oh, it's a good film or a bad film." Yes, they will critique, I suppose, to a degree, certain bits.
Yeah,
but they don't. At the end of it, go, "Yeah, rate this one 9 out of 10. You should go and watch it," or "This one was rubbish, 2 out of 10." You know, that sort of thing. It's not kind of like that. It's more sort of.
It's just generalised, isn't it? Yeah.
And we like this and we like that. But one thing I do really like is they do these special episodes every now and then.
Yeah. We've had a little chat about these.
Yeah. So for Christmas, they have done Die Hard episodes, because Die Hard is a Christmas film.
Yeah, of course it is.
And this Christmas just gone, they released an episode loosely based on Die Hard 4.0. Or is it Live Live Free or Die Hard.
Live Free, Die Hard.
I think that's the American title for it.
Yeah,
we got 4.0. They got Live Free or Die Hard. And they act in it.
Yeah,
they've set up a scenario, and they're sort of acting through the whole thing, and it's really good. It's really involved. It's daft.
Yeah,
and at times it's almost a little wacky.
Yeah.
But if you go with it on the ride, I think it's really enjoyable, and it's something that I always enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
But definitely worth listening. This year they've announced they're going to have a little bit of a format change, so you'll have to tune in to find out what you think of that. So yeah, Pod Charles Cinecast, definitely always on my list. And I'll subscribe to their Patreon again soon.
Yeah. Oh, that good.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the sign of a
It's they're the only podcast I've ever subscribed to.
Yeah. But, wow. There you go. Yeah.
In that sort of way, I subscribe to all podcasts I listen to, but I send money to those guys because they don't have any adverts in theirs.
No, and that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get no funding for it.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice that they've got the if you want it, because you get bonus episodes if you pay. Because on the Patreon you get the sort of the extra stuff out of it. But yeah, I'll get back into that one day.
Yeah. No, it's quite good, and I quite like the little Patreon idea type thing, because there's a little Warhammer group I follow. I say little, they're quite big, but I pay an on-demand subscription, and because I pay that on-demand subscription, I get to view extra stuff, which includes a podcast, which is quite cool in itself. Obviously, it's all Warhammer related, but they do go off every now and then. But I quite like the way the world's gone, that you can get a bit extra, but it's a choice. And this is something they were talking about earlier, because I was listening to their little podcast, funny enough, before I come round here. But the choice is good. See, nobody ever has to do it.
No, and that's the way to do it, isn't it?
And that's the way to do it, because then you've got choice. And I think also it kind of, and they were talking about this, and I'm just going to sort of steal it for a minute, but it stops sort of piracy. Because if you wanted to listen to it, you would probably pay just a little extra on your subscription or whatever.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, because it's harder to actively go looking for piracy stuff if you're a novice like me.
Yeah.
And you didn't know where to look for stuff that's been ripped off. You would just think, well, do you know what? I will support them guys, and I will pay the little bit extra to get the extra stuff, which I think is quite nice in today's society. Because when we were growing up, like we said the other week, with computers, you could quite easily get anything you wanted, ripped, pirated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I was a naughty little boy, but it was accessible then.
Yeah.
To get it, wasn't it? And then the world sort of changed a little bit, I think, and it's actually quite a nice way for content creators and stuff to progress.
I like it. I like so 99% of podcasts have adverts in them.
Yeah.
We aren't big enough yet to have the adverts.
No.
I know some podcasts actually, they have adverts, but if you subscribe to the Patreon or whatever subscription service they choose, you then get the option to get ad-free downloads. Which is quite nice. And then you also, in my mind, you're supporting that artist directly, which I always think is good.
Yeah.
So like John in that podcast, he's also a musician.
Yeah.
And he released an album a few months ago in October, I think it was. And you can stream it on Spotify. But I thought, no, I'm gonna buy it as well, because it's just showing that little bit extra support. Spotify is not making. It's not going to make a lot of money.
It's not going to give him millions.
No,
or, it's not going to pay for the output you had to do.
No, and yes, the little bit of money I paid also doesn't pay a lot, but it pays probably more than Spotify does.
Yeah.
So it's a direct way of supporting someone.
Yeah.
So I think the Patreon idea is a good idea, but if in the future we get the chance to do adverts and mix it up with a Patreon, I don't see it as a bad thing.
No, not at all. No. Obviously, that's future sort of
but
talk.
Yeah,
but
don't worry about that. I think we've got some time before we
we
hit that minimum subscriber list.
Yeah. But it's quite good, and it's interesting because everybody listens to something different. There's a couple of lads at work, and some lads are just pure music all day.
Mm.
And then there's a couple of other people, and they are just books, and they're like, I'm on this series of books, and I'm going to finish this because work's amazing for it. And then you see the other people, and they're just like, I'll just do this, and this.
Yeah.
And I listen to a little bit of this, and I might stop that halfway through, which really grinds me because I'm like, just.
You're a completionist, though.
Yeah. Why would you start it and not finish it? I want to see the little finished circle on me, Amazon Music download. I want to see the little circle to say I've listened to the lot. But it goes back to that choice thing, I think, and it's so much better now. And I could go into how much stuff costs, and it's all the different sort of subscription shows and blah blah blah. But it is good at the moment for if you want that. There's quite a lot there for you to choose from, and it's that thing. It's a choice. If you don't want to pay for a subscription or anything like that, then maybe you find something you really like and you pay the actual money for it.
Yeah.
Instead of paying a monthly subscription to get your books or your podcasts or whatever, or your music. And if because some people really do just buy the CDs, and then they still work old school. They've paid for the CD, so the money's gone to the artist.
Yeah.
But then maybe they still put them on the computer, so they can listen to them as they go because they've already paid for it.
Yeah, I used to have loads of CDs.
Yeah.
Years ago, I had tons and tons CDs, DVDs
in the little racks in the front room, stacked up, all in order, all the artists together in release order and stuff.
The amount of DVDs I used to have was ridiculous. I don't know what the number was, but it was too many for the big shelf I had.
Yeah,
It was like a bookshelf, probably about 6 foot high,
full of DVDs.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 foot wide, absolutely chock-a-block. And too many for that.
Yeah. But there was a time when everybody was like that.
Yeah.
Because you would get DVDs for birthday, Christmas. Yeah. Oh, this new DVD's come out. I'm just going to go and buy it. Because DVDs were quite cheap. And if you had a little part-time job, you could get one. And be like, I've got this DVD. Do you want to try it this weekend?
And then 4K hit. And you're like...
I need to replace my whole library.
In fact, no, it was HD hit. And you were like, HD, oh no.
Yeah.
I can't have those DVDs anymore. I need to upgrade these.
Yeah.
And then 4K comes out and you're like, more money.
More money and nothing fits in the thing anymore. They're all different sizes. But I remember those days and the little cupboards in the front room and you'd be like, where's this DVD? Oh, it's behind such and such. But you've got 3 rows of DVDs in the cupboard and you're pulling them all out all over the floor just to find the old Harry Potter at the back or whatever. Yeah. And then you go upstairs in the loft and there's just boxes of it and you go, when did we buy them?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even remember buying them. Shops don't take them no more, DVDs. And they haven't for a good couple of years either, taking DVDs for money.
I sent all mine off to... there's an online place that'll do it.
Oh, there is still some places then.
Well, I haven't looked for a long time.
Yeah,
because the DVDs and CDs I've got now, they're my core.
Oh, you like having them?
They're
going to stay at home.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
Which is probably not even 5% of what I used to have. It's tiny. It's a minuscule amount now.
Yeah.
I'm sort of reluctant to get rid of some of those.
Yeah. But I'm the same. I've got the core sort of few books and DVDs and, and CDs that I've had, like the special edition Biffy Clyro that I brought where they were at Wembley. Years old it is. I was still in college. Still got that battered old CD case.
Yeah.
I've probably never had it in the car, my new car, but it's still there. And it's still going strong because I bought that myself, and that's one of my core sort of favourites. Like that's a good memory.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah. But like you, we had reams of DVDs. My mum had reams of DVDs, and I tried to take them to a shop in town. They used to give you a bit of money and whatnot for them, and it got to the point where they were like, "We can't even give you money for these. We'll take them, but we can't give you no money because they don't sell."
Yeah, there's no point now because everything's on a streamer, so it's.
Even charity shops, because people would rather pay a subscription for something and watch films that way because it's just so accessible now, isn't it? Really.
If you remember last year, I actually gave you a DVD to watch.
You did, you did, and I had it for ages. I did watch it though.
Yeah. And you can find most films now online somewhere.
Yeah.
Or, at a push you can find it on YouTube to buy, I suppose, Google Movies or whatever. Yeah. I've got a few on there because being part of the Android Google
family.
I've earned points and whatever, and I've been able to sort of redeem against.
Yeah.
So it's quite good that I do have some stuff available, and it's quite good for like my girls because if they want to watch Harry Potter. Yeah. So what happened was not Christmas gone. I think it was Christmas before. I thought I'm going to buy all the Harry Potters.
Yeah. And
they're all on YouTube, proper, good to go. And then we watched them all, and about a month later, they were all on Netflix.
Which you already paid for.
Which I'd already paid for, and I was like, oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But they're always there, and they're probably arguably better quality on the...
And the thing is as well, Netflix, they won't be on there forever.
No, they won't.
Stuff comes on and off of Netflix, And
there's a life expectancy for them, isn't there?
Yeah. So that's quite a good way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Not paying for it on, because I don't think YouTube will ever take it down.
And because I've got the Xbox there, but I don't have a DVD player anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a 4K built-in. It's a Blu-ray player.
Oh yeah,
it,
that'll do all that.
Yeah.
But I don't sit there sort of watching stuff on there anymore.
No.
Those DVDs rarely get looked at.
No.
Which is a shame, but these things.
It's the day and age that we're in now.
Yeah. I will watch some of them again, I'm sure, but I've got one film that I will be watching again soon.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have those things on DVD, but it's and CD as well. It's still I've got a CD player in the car, so every now and then I'll stick something in there.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I've got John's CD in there at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, you can find him. He's at tall.
At tall.
He is tall, yeah.
Is he?
He's a tall boy. Yeah, so I do put some stuff in the car, so the CDs still get used, but actually as well, I've got
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth dongle thing.
I've got Bluetooth in the car.
Yeah, just connects to the radio, and I can listen to whatever I want. So
yeah.
It's not completely redundant, but it's
It depends who you are. You might be somebody who loves stuff like that. Because I've got mates who still plug their phones into the car.
Oh,
not even Bluetooth,
cable.
But by the aux cable. Yeah, and I'm thinking, I know I'm a bit old fashioned, but I don't even do that anymore. I just use the Bluetooth.
Yeah. Well, not every car has the.
No, that's very true. That's very true.
But buying the Bluetooth dongle, as much as it's not that expensive these days, the auxiliary cables are a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and it's just a simple plug in, and there you go. It's ready to go. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people press the buttons on their phone when they're driving.
Yeah,
even though they shouldn't be doing it.
No, that's very true. Yeah,
and even if it's Bluetooth, if your car's not equipped for Bluetooth, you've still got to change the track somehow.
That's it. Yeah. No,
I'm quite lucky. My Bluetooth dongle's got some physical buttons on it, so I can just press those.
Yeah.
So I don't even have to look at it. I can concentrate on the road, like a good little boy.
Like a good boy, yeah.
And then I can change tracks and skip ads and all the rest of it.
There are a few apps, because I use the Bluetooth in the car, and it does have a car safe mode.
Oh yes.
So it's, if you've got it on a little holder like you would your sat navs back in the day, they stick to the window. It's in the same sort of area, but it's not fully immersive. So I don't know what the law is about stuff like that. Obviously, you can't be watching it all the time, but I think it's just like one button. So if you're still, like you say, concentrating on the road, like these car safe modes on the apps are there to stop you from getting distracted. It's just you just press the screen with your finger and it skips the song or whatever.
Yeah.
But then the issue is with them, you have to okay them. So before you obviously move the car, the law is the car has to be off and stationary. You got to turn the car on, turn the app over to car mode, and then you can drive.
Yeah. Some of them pick it up automatically. So like, if you were to use Spotify, I know you're not a Spotify user, But if you were to use that automatically detects when you're driving.
Oh, and then it will change to car mode.
And it changes it, yeah.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
I think you're still not allowed to use it.
No, even though
because it's
a
a mobile device. But I find it bizarre that you can get into a modern car and it's all touchscreen.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. And you can play around with it on the screen and answer a phone call by tapping a screen in the car, but you're not allowed to. Yeah.
But your phone's right there and you can't touch that.
Yeah.
You know, back in the old days when you had more physical buttons in your car.
Yeah. It probably took more
worked.
mental power for you to focus on where the skip button was on the little button
because you're not using it all the time, probably.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, there's a button, click.
Yeah.
Done. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's it's a bit of car chat, why not?
Go on.
A little bit of car nerd, I suppose. Volkswagen Golf.
Yep.
In their latest generation, just before this current facelift that they've got, the heater buttons were smooth.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't know if you were touching them or not. And to change all the heat was just a process that used to be a dial.
Yeah.
Or used to be a flick of a switch or whatever.
Mm.
On there, it was all like touchscreen, smooth, kind of weird.
Yeah.
And they've changed. I think they've changed that back now.
Yeah.
Because everything just gets, as much as it looks nice and clean and everything's flat and people like that, functionality.
Oh, it's no good. Especially when you're driving on a motorway and it's already dark. Yeah. Your brain's already in sort of, I'm nearly ready for bed. I've got to get home here, safely.
Yeah.
It's like my car, it's got a dial for the heat and then a dial for the way the heat comes out. Yeah. But it's got little clicks.
Yeah, so you know where you're at.
You know from the angle of where you're turning it what click it is, so it's really user friendly. But yeah, everything is nice and smooth like that. I wouldn't be able to touch that. No, really.
You can't. See, then you've got to look away to see what's happening.
See what you're doing, yeah, and especially if it's night time.
But somehow that's safe enough because
it passed all the regs.
It's part of the car. It's okay.
Yeah. But it passed all the rigorous things that the government makes it go through. Yeah.
But you can have your phone mounted just to the side of your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
So you could be looking at your phone because it's in the windscreen.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people's is.
Yeah.
And you can't touch that.
Yeah. But you can touch all these other little things to the left of you.
Which are down below.
Yeah.
So you can't see the road.
Yep.
But that phone screen in the window, can't touch it, even
Illegal.
though it's probably safer at this point than those systems in those modern
down
cars.
There. Yeah. Although I like, because mine hasn't, but some cars have it all on the steering wheel as well.
Yeah, some do.
Some nice newer cars, not mine. Like I say, mine's still a turnable dial. So.
Yeah, you do get a lot of radio controls and that sort of thing on there.
Yeah.
But that's great. Like my car's got that, but it only works on the physical radio.
Yeah.
I can adjust the volume, but I can't change the track, for example, if I'm listening on Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah.
So you still got that kind of disconnect, but it's essentially, it is better for that.
Yeah, it's a little bit safer.
Yeah, and a lot of cars, certainly these days, I don't think there's many cars which don't have some form of button or dial or something on the steering wheel.
Yeah. Mine does. Yeah. The only thing mine doesn't have is cruise control. I've never had it in a car that I've owned.
Yeah, I don't have cruise control in this car. I used to have it in the last car.
Yeah.
Which was great. And then it would just cut out. And you'd be like, oh. Okay.
you're going 70 on a motorway and suddenly you just hit 50 and you're like, oh, hold on a minute.
Yes, slowing down. And you couldn't restart it without turning the engine off and turning it back on again.
Oh, jeez, wow.
So
you wouldn't bother using it.
So it's just annoying. You could get away with it for a bit, and then it would be like,
yeah. I'll just drive normal. Don't worry.
and then this car doesn't have it at all. But then the vans I've got at work, they've got cruise control.
Oh, have they?
Which is quite nice, and a limiter as well.
Oh, the limiters I find handy.
Yeah, I like the limiter
as well. Yeah.
Because we're limited to on national speed limit single lane roads or single carriageway.
It's 50.
It's 50,
big fans like that, yeah. And then on the motorways, it's 60. I think not 70. I think your regs are the same.
But
as ours.
we can't go past that anyway because the vans themselves are limited.
It's got a built-in limiter.
Well, it's got a built-in limiter anyway, but then it's also got a manual limiter, so you can.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So when you're on National Speed Limit Road, you can select it down to 50 and just
poodle along.
Yeah, flat to the floor if you want.
Won't go anywhere.
Yeah, you won't break the law doing that.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. Anyway, there's some boring car chat for you.
It's not boring, is it? Some people like that.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Try not to get too nerdy with it.
Yeah, too nerdy with the old car chat. Yeah.
But,
it's interesting though. It's interesting.
Another car news. My car's getting closer to being fixed now.
Oh, is it?
Well, I fixed the main problem. That was fine.
Yeah.
I've done something else to it today. I've got another job for it. Maybe later on this week, but that's going to be quite involved. But
I just love it when you say quite involved.
Yeah, hands will be dirty. There's no getting away from it. My hands will be covered in some sort of dirt.
Oh, lovely.
Or grease.
But after that, you won't have to take it back to the garage.
Oh, I'm all done.
That'll be the last of it then, yeah.
Well, this is completely separate to that.
Oh, is it?
All the garage stuff was one pipe.
Oh yeah, because we spoke about that, and now that's done. So
I put it all back together.
Yeah,
I Jubilee clipped it just for belt and braces.
Yeah,
this is really exciting stuff. Rear wiper needs fixing, needs cleaning and disassembling and putting back together.
Yeah.
A joyful job. I can't wait.
A joyful job. Can't change mine on my old Nana's car because somebody has screwed it into place.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember you saying
Yeah, I told you, didn't I, ages ago? Yeah. The blokes in the garage just had no clue. It's just
terrible.
Somebody has bolted the windscreen wiper in place. I know the car's a little toaster, but come on. Jeez.
Man.
But yeah. I think that car needs some new tyres soon, however. Nan's getting on a bit now, and it's technically her car. Yeah. I'm just a name driver, so I'm not driving it illegally when I pool around in it with the dog. But obviously, I don't think she's going to renew her licence.
Okay.
So the dilemma is either I take on the car with me auntie, and we both share the payment for it, and it's just used as a dog wagon.
Yeah.
And just like a pool about town. Because my car's obviously parked up with a permit, and it's really hard to get a space. So the less I use that, and the less I have to, the better.
Yeah.
Going around that. So it's one of those things. Do I keep the car because I know it needs tyres soon, and I know it needs looking at, and I could do some stuff. But obviously, tyres and that I haven't got. Like where we park the car, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go to a garage. Do I just get rid of it? Or do I just keep it going for as long as it does? But then I'll probably put more money into it, trying to let it die.
Yeah,
this is the thing. If I put 2 new tyres on it, I'm like, right, I'll put tyres on it, and then I'll run it into the ground. But then while I'm running it into the ground, another little job will come up.
And another one.
And then another little one. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'll probably put more effort into keeping it on the road to run it into the ground.
Yeah.
Than I have to just run it into the ground. But yeah, that's a little thought I've got to have because it's a nice zippy little motor automatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean if it's useful, then
it is for the dog. It's bloody filthy.
But that's the whole point.
That's the point of it.
That's why you have dog wagons.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. But I mean, if we did get rid of it, my car would just go on outside the front of the house, and I'd buy a little dog hammock for the car. She's quite happy going in my motor.
Yeah.
So the only issue is, don't really want my aunties driving it. They can drive my nan's car because they're named drivers and they can do what they want with it. But I don't really want loads of people while I'm at work getting in and out of my motor.
Well, I think you just answered your own question there. Haven't you?
There we go. Yeah. Just keep the little dog wagon for a little while.
Yeah,
but
keep your car all cleaner.
Yeah, just for a little while longer, a couple of years.
Yeah. That's it. No, I think that's probably the sensible option there, given what you just said.
Just try and unscrew the back windscreen wiper because I don't think it'll pass the MOT unless I can unscrew it or unbolt it somehow.
You can get little blanking plates.
Oh, right.
So you can remove it entirely.
Yeah.
And then where the hole is, obviously you want to cover that, but you can get these little blanking plates that'll be specific to the car.
Yeah.
That you'll be able to put in there so the rain doesn't come in.
Oh, okay.
The thing about MOTs is, if something is there and it's broken, it's a failure.
Yeah.
If something isn't there, it's not a failure because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's a good point, to be fair.
Yeah. And it doesn't apply to everything. Some things actually have to be there.
Yeah.
So, for example, you've got to have 2 mirrors.
Yes.
It doesn't matter which 2 they are.
Yeah, but you need to have 2. Yeah.
But if you have a wing mirror and it's cracked, you'll fail your MOT. If you remove that wing mirror for the MOT, you'll pass the MOT.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're going to look at the other 2 mirrors, aren't they?
These just for legal reasons, I'd like to say, please don't test this. This is something that I know from years ago.
Yeah.
But MOT rules and procedures have changed and updated over time.
Of course they have, yeah.
But I imagine with a rear wiper, not every car has a rear wiper.
No.
And quite often you see hatchbacks without
them, yeah.
And they've blanked them off or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's a good show. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
When it comes a bit closer to time.
Either that or you've got to then work out how you're going to reinstall it.
Yeah.
So it works.
If I can take it apart, then I can figure out how to put another one on.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can. Even if it's just the same bolt. But it's just... I'll just buy another unit to bolt it into, maybe. Just a little bracket.
Yeah.
It might just be the bracket I need to buy.
Probably on eBay, you can probably find the whole assembly.
Yeah.
Bolts and everything. And all you'll do is take out the existing one, put the new unit in there, tighten it all up, good to go.
Done.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it might be like a couple £100.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. And I don't even know if the car's worth a couple of £100.
Yeah, I can't help you with that.
No, that's all right. Yeah. Car Doctor with Jamie.
Please don't ask me for advice.
Thing is, if we get a couple of emails about it, that'll be something to talk about.
Yeah, we've got some. We've got some listener feedback. We need some listener feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always in the show notes how to get in touch if you want to ask us any questions or, get in touch and then, we might discuss it in one of our Corellian Chinwag episodes.
Yeah, that's it. We can drop that in. It'll be...
Yeah, just answer a couple of questions or, if somebody sends us a funny story or something, if we find it good enough and it's clean enough, we might read it out.
And if we're desperate enough,
yeah,
we're hardly wading through emails at the moment, so you've got a really good chance of getting a shout out on a podcast. Imagine that. You could be the first.
Yeah. First shout out. That would be we could send him a little wooden spoon or something.
Just think, when this podcast blows up,
yeah,
and we're super worldwide famous, somebody somewhere sent that first email. They had the first shout out,
and they had the first say as well.
Yeah,
correcting me on one of my mistakes, maybe.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be first, right?
Yeah, that's it. when we're at our award ceremonies, rolling in money.
Yeah.
This is all thanks to Mr. Javen.
Right. Well, I think that's a good point to wrap this up.
Lovely jubbly. Good talking to you, mate.
Yeah, and you as always. Look after yourself.
Be good
and stay out of the sand.